The 46 models. So I started to begin painting the 3 tanks. This one right here with the missile, it's going to be, I call it tiger yellow. It's going to have some green and then some red-brown camo in it. So we're going to do that probably last. But the one with the waterfall here, the natter looking thing, I went ahead and did, like I'm doing with the Leopold, which I'll show you in a minute, is I did German gray and some red-brown camo. Now I am not done. I got to weather the engine deck. I got to paint the track, and I got to do just more painting. But I wanted to get the camo on because I had a cup full of it, and just went ahead and did this variation as well. So we are beginning to paint the tanks. And number 3, I have special instructions on one of the tanks, and I was supposed to paint it like I painted the rat. And if you all remember the rat, it was this camo pattern with a red turret. So I did a red turret on that one, and I'll do this camo pattern on the lower hull on that very, very soon. So that's my game plan. I got the red-brown painted on it. Just got to go one more kind of coat, and I'll be done with that, and then do the base coat, and then of course paint the track, weather, and all that good stuff. But we're going to keep the weather to a minimum, but anyway, we'll do that shortly. The Spitfire, done and done. Got it painted, got the base coat on, then I got the camo on, then I went in and did some shading on it. You can see there. Now I just do a little bit of post shading just to give a little character, I don't know if it's 100% accurate, on the shading, but there's that. Then I went in and put the decals on, a little bit of setting solution, and they snuggle down and they are good to go. So the Spitfire is ready. I went in and painted the canopy. I basically painted it with a brush. There was really no need to mask it off, but there's that. I just need to spray a little bit of a sealer on just to protect decals. The motor works, and I don't have I cut the ends off and I put them in the bag. I'll try to do one where I can show everyone. What I've done so far is I cut the wires and I spliced them on both ends. So when you get this, you'll just have to put red to red, black to black, and to make things just a little bit simpler, you're going to take the metal pole, and you might be able to can use it, or you may have to either chop it down. I don't know how the little plane dial is going to work, but anyway, that's enough space to enough rod to do that. All you got to do is just fish the wires through. On the bottom of the plane, I wallered out a hole, and all you got to take is basically 5-minute epoxy or super glue, and put your little dab there with a little accelerator, and bam, you'll be able to put the pole in. This way it'll just be easier to ship, and you won't have a complete 8-inch awkward plane in a box. But anyway, that's the easiest way to do it, and that's pretty much what I try to do on all like starships and all that. But anyway, Spitfire's done. We'll probably do maybe one more on it, and we'll start the HE111 very, very soon. The E100 Leopold. So last I left off on it, again, German gray, basically whole base coat, and I was supposed to do gray with red-brown camo, and the picture that I got, it was kind of more blotchy, and it's all right, but I kind of went with the more of a tiger lines. I think it looks a little cooler. I don't know if you can actually, hopefully you can see it, it's more clear. Pretty much mirrored the other side, you can see on that. And of course I gotta weather it. I gotta paint the tracks. I always like to do I see everyone do it. They always paint like one wheel, which I don't know if they actually did that. I assume they didn't, but it gives a little artistic color on it. I got to paint the track. The track's already basically painted. I'm just going to go back over it with MIG's dark track, which this is my favorite tank track color, which I'll probably going to have to go buy me a couple more bottles of it, because I like that color real well. But anyway, I'll do that once I'm going to probably paint all the tracks all at one time, just make it easier. But anyway, got the camo on, a little darker in places, a little faded in others. I like to make it more subtle. I just think it just adds to it. But anyway, after that, I got to do some weathering. I did some post shading. You can see by the engine decks and all that, and I got to do some pigments and all that, and we'll try to get that accomplished this week. But anyway, that's the basic painting of it, and then I got to continue on and weather and just nitpick it, and then we'll see what we can do about markings. Because speaking of markings, and if you look right there, the Leopold, I don't think I can use the decals. I think they're too old and yellow. So we may do something, and I'll see if it looks good first. But I may take something like that, or do something. We'll just see, or we'll leave it blank. We'll just see what happens. See what does look good. But anyway, that's what I've got going on today. We are painting the E100 Leopold. We finished up the forgotten Spitfire, and we're painting the 46 model tank. So that's what I got going today, and I should have a shed update, so stand by for that. So that's what I've got going on, so stay tuned for the next exciting episode.